And we are back. Bryan Broaddus. Man, I just, I wake up in the morning, man. I be 5 o'clock in the morning, just like you, man. I'd be like, all right, man. I'm normally excited to break down the film because, Bryan, sometimes I feel like it's not as bad as the game, normally says. You know what I mean? Because I was watching emotionally. Right. Maybe I was texting on the phone. I was tweeting. Maybe I missed some stuff. Maybe there were more bright spots than I thought. It's like, boy, Bryan, ain't no way all 5 offensive linemen played bad, Bryan. ain't no way. Bryan, I walked into this thing. Pardon me. I walked into this thing, Bryan, and I was like, man, maybe this would have been a week with these guys that the Lions got in the middle. Let me just leave Tyler Smith in the middle because that's where they're real strong at with Reed and, McNeil. And to be fair, Bass did kind of go on a ride a few times, Bryan, but Tyler Smith went on a ride too. So I wonder if that experiment is over. Bryan, what does the looking for answers process look like? How long does that last? What does that feel like when we're watching film and, like if I'm watching film with my coaches, that's one thing. But, you're watching film now with Twitter is upset. You're watching film with maybe Jerry Jones is upset, which, the media is talking now. What does looking for answers look like at this point in the season?
Well, it's a great question, and I never had to deal with Twitter, but I had to deal with Todd Archer and people like that, that were really, really on the ball when it came to evaluating the team and watching and all that. And I do remember those times when we were 5-11, and it was a long time ago. I do remember just every morning closing my door and turning on the tape and just taking my pad out and just trying to write down as many things as I saw, and maybe you had an opportunity to visit with a coach. Maybe you walked into the locker room and you saw a player in the weight room and you asked questions and all that. I just wanted to make sure I had all my ducks in a row when Jerry Jones or Stephen Jones asked me a question about that. And so, the evaluation, I'm going to speculate on something today, Voch. I know we were all waiting for Mike McCarthy to have his press conference today. I don't think this was a butt chewing or anything like that. I may be totally wrong with that. I have a feeling that Jerry and Stephen wanted to sit down and watch the tape with Mike, and it went a little long. They're trying to kind of figure out, okay, why are we struggling on defense, or why are we struggling against the run? Maybe they're looking for some answers, much like I used to. I used to sit down and just hash things out with myself and trying to kind of figure things out so then I could go ask other people and maybe get better answers. But I don't think today was about Mike McCarthy going to get fired or anything, but I think Mike McCarthy had to maybe explain himself a little bit today. Maybe he had to say, okay, this is what we thought going in. We were shorthanded, but this is what we were going to try and do offensively. They really didn't get anything done offensively yesterday, and they needed their offenses, you and I've talked about all week, to be really, really good. So I had a feeling that Mike McCarthy had to do exactly what you just asked me. How do you find answers at this time of the year? That's when the owner, general manager, director of player personnel, they sit down and they say, okay, explain. Okay, this was your call. Why this call? What were we thinking here? Why was CeeDee Lamb running a vertical route? Then all of a sudden the quarterback throws the ball to the out. Sure. What did he see? What was your thought here going forward on fourth and 2 from the 38 and you run a couple of smash routes? What's your, we still, could we have punted that one? Did you feel like the game was getting away? What was the deal? That's what I think Jerry and Stephen Jones did today. And I think that's why Mike McCarthy was probably late to your press conference, because he was having to explain, what was going on here today.
Also, too, Bryan, he's not just having to, reevaluate himself and his team and all this kind of stuff, but he got a whole coaching staff that he has to look at now, right? And that's kind of like the bad part about it, right? Like if you're the Bengals, right, you're like, all right, we scored 35 points, but we bad on defense, right? At least you know where to look. If you're the Cowboys and you're kind of bad everywhere versus good teams, now you're looking at, okay, it's not just me, it's not just Zimmer. what's my offensive line coach doing? Like,
Right.
you know, is my linebackers coach giving me everything right now? What about my DBs coach? Why we keep getting beat deep, right? Like, what's going on with should I look at my safeties coach in particular, Brian? Like, it's a lot of questions that, you know, not just players, but coaching wise also.
No, you're absolutely right about that. You know, and even the personnel guys, you kind of look at yourself, because I'll be honest with you here, and our show, that's the great thing about our show. I think we're really honest on the show about our assessments. And, you know, I know when we had these discussions in training camp and I was in Oxnard and you were visiting in with me every night and we were talking, and, you know, I'm saying, well, this is what I saw at practice and this is what I saw here and this is what I saw there. And, you know, I feel like that I've misevaluated really where this offensive line is. You know, I feel like that maybe that I thought it would be potentially a strength of this team. And this is where the plug and play gets you in trouble a little bit, that Dallas's ability to draft guys, young guys, plug and play, boom, here we go. But your right tackle has struggled quite a bit. He gives up pressures at an alarming rate. He'll give up a sack or two in a game. It's been a struggle for him. Yeah. Your right guard is not nearly a Pro Bowl player anymore, or a all-pro player. He's a Hall of Fame player for a later date. Right now, he's not playing like a Hall of Fame player. Now, the questions I have, was something wrong with his back this week? You know, it caused him to miss practice, that he played through the game, and now he's got compromised out there. That's a question I need to ask. Your center can't pick up a twist stunt very well right now. Get pressures inside, you know, because what Mike McCarthy say in the press conference, we're getting a lot more line movement. Well, line movement twist stunts, they're having trouble picking those up across the board. You know, and then your left guard is probably played the best of all the guys in that game. I was amazed to go back and look at the metrics, but the film showed you they left these guys, these tackles, they left them by themselves 85% of the game. You know, and you know, you could probably get away with that with Tyler Smith playing left tackle. Sure. You know, but Tyler Smith had a couple of times where he went down inside and free runner off at Dak. But I feel like I misevaluated this offensive line a little bit. You know, seems like four guys playing particularly well, two guys trying to learn. When you talk about BB and Guyton, a right tackle that is very limited in a lot of ways. You know, those 5 plays where he's not good affect the game. Sure. You know, and you can get away with 1 or 2 plays. You can't get away with 5 or 6. You know, you can't have 39 dropbacks and have pressure on 5 or 6 of them. That was Zach Martin's day yesterday. You know, but you can't do that. And I think that the evaluation of really where this team is, you know, I feel like I missed this offensive line. And I feel like the offensive line is affecting the quarterback, which is affecting the receivers, which is affecting the tight end, which is probably affecting the play caller too.
Well, you know? See, Brian, we only have so many resources, you know. So all we have is the film from last year, the film from college or whatnot. And I don't think we're wrong on the players. We just have no clue what's going to happen once they actually get here, you know. I sincerely feel like, Brian, we have a better offensive line than some of the offensive lines that we've played against so far. Like, we're definitely better than the Saints guys, I feel like, bro. That's just how I feel. You know, they got a rookie, they got Penning, they got Ruiz, the center is good, the left guard is up and down. That ain't as good as what we have. But they scheme it and they coach it different. They scheme it and they coach it different.
Maybe that's where the Joe Philbin and the Mike Solaris and, you know, but I felt like this group was going to play better as a unit. I felt like that they were going to be able to run the football, you know, with power inside with BB and Martin and Smith, you know, and Tyler Smith, Terrence Steele being better at right tackle after a year removed, you know, from his surgery. They're really not. You know, it's really you watch the Lions, and yeah, the Lions have got some legitimate players. That friggin' center is a man. Sure. You know, that right tackle is a man. Yeah. You know, they've got some legitimate, you know, now Decker could be a liability, but you know what? They're hiding one guy. You know, how many guys are we hiding right now?
2.5.
You know, and you watch it, And, we talk about, with Zeke and Dowdle and, the lack of running the ball. I mean, there were, I don't know. I mean, I know when I watched it, I'm thinking, man, they have got to get a guy. If they're going to let these linebackers just run free, if they're going to continually say, hey, you know what, let's run the ball away from Hutchinson, but let's block him with Tolbert. Then I'm going, okay, you deserve what you get when you have schemes that kind of put your linebacker or put your offensive line or your running backs in harm's way. Yeah. If you're just going to sit there and not block guys, if you're just not going to block them and you're going to, you get what you deserve. You think, oh, well, Dak's not going to pull the ball there. He's just going to hand it off. Yeah. Because Dak really doesn't, I don't think Dak wants to run with the football. I really don't. I mean, maybe Dak Prescott 5 years ago or pre-injury against the Giants, he pulls that ball and then now it's a 4 or 5 yard gain. But yeah, there's plenty of let's just try and see if we can fool them with a play fake or something like that. Sure. So, this line, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. They don't really, just
Schoonmaker one-on-one on Hudson is never a good idea.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Tolbert, Schoonmaker, that's that right there. I mean, he's not going to make that block.
Terrible idea.
I mean, that's sometimes where scheme gets you in trouble. Or they say, oh, well, we're going to influence this guy. The interception that Prescott threw in the interception, that Prescott threw to Branch in the end zone.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, as we talked about last night, I guarantee you they ran that play in practice 3 different times, and they said, okay, corner, bite on the fake screen.
Sure.
Bite on the fake screen. Brian Branch is smarter than that. He sees his quarterback reading the whole time.
Sure.
He sees the quarterback's eyes. He sees the quarterback looking at he's not going to play he's not playing the
flat
bubble, the bubble screen or the smoke screen, whatever they're throwing over there to Tolbert. He ain't playing that. He's looking at you and you're like, you're not throwing that ball short of the sticks. Yeah. Are you crazy? No. You're going to look, you're going to throw the ball over behind me. I'm just going to sink here and make a play.
Yeah. Man, Brian, if Ben Johnson is the new head coach, boy, she talking about a smile on my face. Look, we're still not going to be able to play defense. But boy, the smile on my face, we can get that. Please.
Let me ask you a question then, my fine sir.
Por favor.
If you could hire a head coach, are you hiring a defensive coach or an offensive coach?
Man, that's a good question, Bryan Broaddus. I feel like you have to hire these offensive coaches because they got to bring their offense with them. I think defensive coaches get fired from their head coaching job all the time, so you can find them to be your coordinator type guy. But what's not going to happen is, like, Joe Brady's not going to leave being an OC for them just to be an OC for you. The only time I've ever seen that was like Kellen Moore just got 3 offensive like coaching jobs in a row, just like coordinate. But Slowick's next job is going to be head coach. Ben Johnson's next job is going to be head coach. If I had to guess, Clint Kubiak's next job is going to be head coach. I'm just assuming. So in order to really get like an offensive dude, I think you have to hire these dudes as head coaches. As far as the defensive coordinators go, 9 times out of 10, that's an old guy that's been a head coach before. You look at my man Flores. Flores is doing. Hey, Flores.
Brian Flores.
He gets run out of Miami, but he's still a defensive guy. Quinn, prior to going to the Washington Football Wizards, that's kind of what he was for us. So I think there's not going to be a shortage of old man defense coaching coaches that can coach some good defense for you. I think if you're going to get a good offensive coach, you have to grab one of these OCs and they just got to bring their offense with them. You just got to roll the dice like that.
Yeah, you know what? I to me though, if you gave me the opportunity to fix something for the Dallas Cowboys, let me fix the defense, right?
Let me tell you where I agree, though, Brian. Let me tell you where I agree, because if the Cowboys win this game 12-9, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
If the Cowboys look, we can look just as ridiculous on offense as we did. Yeah. But if we get 9 points and another 3 and we win, nobody cares at all, bro. So I absolutely agree with you. I just don't think that's like realistic. But
no, I mean, I like what you're saying because I think you're absolutely right. You can go get Don Capers or Vic Fangio or Dan Quinn. Yep. You know, you can go get one of these guys. You absolutely can. Everybody's like, oh, look. Well, look at Steve Spagnuolo. Look, Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo fired, head coach from the Rams. All of a sudden needs a gig. What is Andy Reid? Well, come on back, Steve. Yep. Next thing you know, you're winning Super Bowls. This guy ain't going anywhere. Yeah. Why? I don't want to go. But see, this is where if I'm Ben Johnson or one of these guys that's going to potentially take this job, if that comes to that, I'm still if I'm the front office, I am grilling them. Who is you're the primary play caller. Get it. Who's your quarterback coach? Yeah. Who's your OC? Who's your offensive line coach? Who's your defensive coordinator? Listen, I am going to be very particular. I am not going to let you come in here and bring buddies. And this is what you might get into with if you say you were to hire Bill Belichick.
Sure.
All of a sudden it's like, well, Jerry, you know what? I can help your defense, but I need Matt Patricia. I need Matt Patricia to come in here.
Josh McDaniels.
Here's your OC. I'm going to hire Josh McDaniels.
Charlie Weiss coming up in here. Yeah.
Joe Judge. Are you feeling okay? If this was 2006, 2007, sure. Let's go, Yeah. But see, that's where my hope, and I told you this last night, my hope as a Cowboy fan would be that this search is exhaustive, that really, really covers a lot of ground. And I'm not just talking about, Rooney Rule and one guy at 36 hours later.
Sure.
I'm talking about let's not do this again. Let's try and find the next Andy Reid who got his shot with the Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to be with us for 14 years.
Sure.
Let's go get that guy. So I don't know. That's the thing that scares me the most is if the season does end poorly, which it very well might. I mean, I think they're struggling to be 500 right now.
Yeah. The
way they're looking.
Brian,
that's going to get you the 16th pick, and you're kind of in no man's land a little bit.
Brian, let me ask you this, man. Just watching this film, right? Offense, really, because I ain't got a whole bunch to say about defense. They got whooped. But
they got whooped.
On offense, though, right? Do you feel like we have enough guys to be a good offense? I feel like we kind of got a similar cast of characters that we had last year. Do you think we have enough guys, but the scheme could possibly help them? Because when you watch Ben Johnson, you get real ungrateful. Like why can't my offense do stuff like this? Oh, sure. Right? So
how about the play? Yeah, and please. How about the play that? How about the play though they did run where Lamb made the one-handed catch coming across the middle.
Sure.
They flipped the two. They flipped Lamb, took him outside. He was inside, brought him outside, and flipped. And then ran the routes to where all of a sudden they drove it where they had a slot blitz, but then Lamb drove inside hard on the cross, and now Branch is having to cover him from depth. What do? They got him in a position where they can make him run, where they can give him some space. Yeah. Watch this. See how they switched? Look at that. If you could, watch the two. They'll flip down here at the bottom. They'll flip, switch the routes. Now here comes a slot blitz, and he's going right to the middle. Look at the safety, average drop, and Branch can't carry him. See, Branch right there from depth can't carry him. See, I felt like watching the Detroit Lions. We got this play a ton.
Mm-hmm. They got 30 of these plays, Brian. This was the best play we got.
Yeah, yeah, I felt like there was one time I watched. That's just a beautiful play, man.
Yeah,
that is a beautiful play to create separation for your best player. Look at the blitz pickup. Boom, ball right there. Let's go. That's a Detroit Lion play right there. That's a attack the middle of the field, get up the field. But see, and then I watch the Lions, and God dang, they run three guys outside the numbers. So now they got three of your defenders pinned over there, outside the numbers. On the right side, they go three guys to the right, and then they run St. Brown inside from the left to replace as all those defenders are moving to cover the three. He's running to replace in the middle. So now it's like everybody's over on one side of the field. They throw the ball underneath. It's a simple catch. It's a 14-yard gain. All he did was they cleared three and ran a replacement inside to make the play. And it's so damn simple.
Yeah.
And I sit there and I watch my quarterback deal with tight window throws every single pass. There's nothing, and that's where you think you have good enough players. Let me ask you this, Voch.
Yes, sir.
Tolbert's better than Gallup, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Do you feel like that you got a little better there, the things with Cooks is really disappointing.
Sure.
But, Tolbert, I think Tolbert's better than what you're getting from Gallup. Turpin, capable. I didn't like throwing the ball to him on 4th and 2. It was really good coverage by Arnold on the pivot route, or return route, smash route, whatever you want to call it. But, to your question, I think you've got good enough skill guys. I don't know about the Dowdle at running back. I think is a 2. I don't know if he's the 1. No.
Yeah,
I don't know that.
We got a 2 and a bunch of 3s at running back, and we got a 3 and a bunch of 4s at receiver, Brian.
Yeah,
I think Jalen Tolbert is like a really good third guy. Like if Jalen Tolbert's your third guy, you having a party if he's your third guy. And he may be better than Gallup, but is Tolbert like?
But Gallup was the third guy, or was Gallup a second guy to you?
Gallup was like the third, sure, but is Tolbert like an 8 touchdown guy?
Yeah.
Last year Cooks was right. So I don't think Tolbert can be your second dude. I think Tolbert will shine as your third guy. Because Brian, what happened is, man, they'll put 2 people on Lamb and they'll over physical Ferguson to mess his timing up, and Tolbert just got to be somebody. Brandon Cooks just got to be somebody. Turpin just got to be somebody. I think you need one more dude just to bump everybody down one time. Flournoy ran a lovely route. Look, Flournoy probably
beautiful route. Yeah,
he probably got the most separation out of anybody all season, but he just fumbled at the end.
Well, the ball was in the wrong hand, man. He had the ball inside of the field. If he has it outside, maybe they're not able. Both Arnold and Branch both punched at the ball. They saw the ball in his right arm, and they're like, okay, if you're going to put the ball in the right arm, we're just going to punch it out instead of, he's got to get it over on the left side there. He's got to get it to the left arm. But yeah, it's a beautiful route. Really, really is. Yeah, right there. Watch that. Boom. Catch it. Go. Now the ball's in the wrong hand and gets punched out, Unfortunate for him. That's a second fumble. You remember what happened to him in the preseason?
Yeah. Brian, do you think we go back to Flournoy at all? Do you think we?
You think he's about to get the Hunter Lipke treatment?
Man, I don't know, man. I just hope not, because just seeing him a little bit out there, I'm like, I need anything, Brian. I need any glimmer of hope. I need anything to make me feel better about what's going on, man. Like you said, we looking like an 8-8 ball club, 8-9, 9-8, whatever. That's the kind of ball club we looking like. And look, I know that might be the best team in the conference that we just played against.
Yeah, I think
get it.
So.
That's the best news you could possibly get. We can't look no worse than that. And I think that's the best team in the conference. But you're clearly not going to be like a first-round bye type team. Like, you've lost all of your conference games except for the Giants with us. You ain't getting none of those tiebreakers, right? Yeah. And San Fran's coming, Texans are coming, Falcons are coming. Like it's not getting easier. Bucks are at the end of the year. You know, you may have thought Bucks
Cincinnati maybe too.
You might beat the hell out of Cincinnati. I don't know, but it looks like a tougher year than it was at first, Brian. You know, I don't think they've quit yet, and I don't think that they deserve to quit yet because I think there's a little room to make it as a wild card team. But man, maybe some fans feel like, is it worth it? I think if you get into the postseason, you have a chance to do something. But
the problem you're running into, Voch, is 3 teams are going to come out of the North. That North is, even the Bears have gotten better. Bears gotten better. Minnesota's gotten better. Green Bay will adapt to wherever happens to them. They lose their quarterback, they'll just start running the ball, and So I think you're going to have to win this division to get in. But the Commanders gave one back to you. I mean, they I think the Commanders defensively aren't very good. I don't think they're very good. I think their offense is really, really good, but I don't think they're very good defensively.
Sure.
Philadelphia, every time I watch Philadelphia, I feel like they're going to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, every single time I feel like they're going to lose.
They just ran into a worse team last week. The Browns are just as horrible, but I agree.
But I think Dallas is going to, I think you're going to have to find a way to get to 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to have to find a way. And right now at 3, tell me where 7 games are. Tell me where 7 games are here, and but not the way you're currently playing. Not the way you're currently playing on offense. Your inability to just run the ball is really, really hurting any kind of attack you have.
Yeah.
Just as you mentioned it, there's nothing easy about their offense. There's just nothing. It's a constant struggle, to move the ball, and that's on the play caller. That's on the coaches. It's on the scheme. Like I said, I mean, you get spoiled watching the Lions.
Sure.
I think the Lions are more fun to watch on offense than the 49ers are.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I can actually look at the 49ers and see that they're a team that's kind of declining a little bit.
Yeah.
And the Lions have gotten they both going to beat the hell out of us. I mean, the 49ers probably go out to come out there and whoop us too. But I think that the Detroit Lions are the best team in the conference, Brian.
The conference they are, yeah. And we'll see if they can survive. They're good enough offensively, but I guarantee you, as I said earlier in our broadcast, I could see them making a move for an edge. I'm not saying it's going to be Hassan Reddick. It might. Sure. Who knows? I mean, the fact that he's changed agents and stuff, maybe the Jets will move on from him. But we're starting to see some teams. I saw Jacksonville traded one of their defensive tackles today. So maybe some people are starting to kind of get ahead of the game here and figure that out.
Brian, do you have anything else from the film that kind of jumped out to you that you wanted to tell the people about before we adjourn for the night?
No, I think that, I think that what we talked about with the Lions running the football and that, the 2 backs they have, offensive line was, getting Frank Ragnow back really helped them. You got young linebackers. I think the Lions determined that they tried to fool them, with the play action stuff, which they did. They ran some of what we call the scissors, where they show the ball to one side and then run it back the other, some misdirection stuff. These Lions, it was really impressive the way that they got into your your defensive line and into your linebackers. And, they make you miss tackles. I mean, hell, Montgomery, I think he had the first 12 carries, he had 10 missed tackles. I mean, it was just crazy how. And then you got a quarterback that hadn't thrown the ball down the field at all deep. And then what they do, complete a couple of deep passes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's defensively, you knew that it was going to be a real, real struggle.
Yeah.
And you got beat up. You got beat up pretty good there. But, I think your offense, to me, the things that are the most disappointing in that game yesterday, and I think we talked about it yesterday as well, was how disappointed I was that the offense really no-showed in that game.
Yeah.
The offensive line, the Lions hadn't really had any pressures other than that, and Hutchinson. And next thing you know, it's McNeil is making play after play and pressuring you. And it just, bad all around that way. Yeah. Bad all around.
Well, Bryan, we're on a bye week, man. So I mean, what do we do? What do we talk about? We'll find something. We'll ask some questions. We'll talk to the people.
Oh no, yeah, I'm gonna talk to some folk and we'll figure it out. How about we do some big picture thinking? We'll maybe get on my gang of 7 and maybe look at some positions and stuff like that. Maybe kind of go through the roster and kind of give it a offense and defensive look of playing well, not playing well. I'm not asking to give grades of F or D or B or whatever.
Sure.
But let's go through some position groups and kind of talk about the players. Are they exceeding where we're at or far below expectations? Where we at going forward as we kind of take a little bit of a break from this thing.
That sounds fantastic, sir. Hey, we appreciate y'all for being consistent, tapping in with us every single night. Y'all follow me on all my socials, VOCHLOMBARDI. I'm not talking about nothing special, but Bryan Broaddus on Twitter and in the comment section, because he read them every morning. He's going to be saying he's going to be answering all your questions about who you want to fire and who's not good and all that kind of stuff. So Bryan is there for you. I am not. All right, love y'all to pieces, man. We'll catch y'all next time. Until tomorrow's show, we'll ask some big picture questions. Ground.